Vanakkam friends, Vanangamudi welcomes you to subscribe my channel to watch forthcoming videos. Today's topic of interest is organic matter and its decomposition. It is a chapter of soil science under natural resource management. A sticky and slimy organic materials that cement the sand particles together to form aggregates in sandy soil. In clayey soil, it modifies the properties of clay by reducing the cohesiveness and making clay more crumpy. Let me discuss on composition of organic residues in general. The plant residue contains 75% moisture and 25% dry matter. Out of 25% dry matter, carbon contains 10 to 12%, oxygen 9 to 10%, whereas hydrogen is 1.5 to 2.5% and nitrogen is 1 to 2% and mineral matter is 1 to 3%. If you look at the composition of plant tissues in particular, the cellulose has 20 to 50% and hemicellulose 10 to 30%, starch and sugar 1.5%, whereas protein is 1 to 15%, fats, waxes and tannins combine together to form 1 to 10% and lignin is 10 to 30%. Well friends, let us now discuss about the organic matter classification. The first one is based on solubility. In these, proteins, peptides, nitrogenous peptones and S-containing materials belong to water insolubles, while the water solubles are nitrate, ammonia compounds, non-nitrogenous carbohydrates like cellulose, hemicellulose, starch and sugar. The ether soluble organic matter are fats, oils, waxes, resins and lignins. Next one is based on rate of decomposition. Rapidly decomposed include sugars, starches and proteins, while the less rapidly decomposed include hemicellulose and celluloses. Very slowly decomposed include fats, waxes, resins and lignins. Now we discuss about what are all the chemicals changes that are taking place during the decomposition of soil organic matter. Due to enzymatic oxidation, the carbon dioxide, water, energy and heat is released, and also the essential elements like N, P and S are also released. Formation of compounds which are resistant to microbial action. Decomposition of organic matter takes place under two conditions. First one is aerobic conditions. When glucose is decomposed under aerobic conditions, the substances like carbon dioxide and water are released. The final products are carbon dioxide, ammonia, nitrate, phosphoric acid, sulfate, water and other essential plant nutrients like calcium, magnesium, iron, copper and zinc are released. Under anaerobic conditions, the aliphatic acids like acetic formic acid or hydroxy acids like citric, lactic or alcohols like ethyl alcohol are released. The final products are methane, organic acids like lactic, propionic, butyric, ammonia, various amine residues, sulfur dioxide, ethylene and humic substances. Good friends, in previous slides we saw about the organic matter classification like water insolubles, water solubles and the ether solubles. Now we can see the process of decomposition of different substances one by one. First one is the decomposition of all soluble substances, and there are about three processes are involved, and they are ammonification, nitrification and denitrification. First one is ammonification. The ammonification is the transformation of organic nitrogenous compounds like amino acids, amides, ammonium compounds and nitrates into ammonia. This is called ammonification. And what are all the microbes that are involved in the hydrolytic and oxidative enzymatic reactions, and they are Bacillus, Clostridium, Proteus, Pseudomonas and Streptomyces. The next process is nitrification. Nitrification is the conversion of ammonia to nitrites and then to nitrate. And mostly autotrophic bacteria are involved in this process. The ammonia is converted to nitrate by Nitrosomonas and then nitrite to nitrate by Nitrobacter. The last step in the process of decomposition of water soluble residues is denitrification, and this is conversion of nitrates into gaseous nitrogen or nitrous oxide. The microbes involved are Pseudomonas and Bacillus. Good friends, so far we saw about the decomposition of soluble substances. Now we discuss about decomposition of insoluble substances. There are four types. One is protein, cellulose, hemicellulose and starch. If you look at the protein decomposition, there are two processes, aminization and ammonification. Aminization is the conversion of proteins to amino acids, while the conversion of amino acids and amides to ammonia is ammonification. The second one is the breakdown of cellulose, and here the cellulose breaks into monosaccharides, that is nothing but the simple sugars like glucose and other simple sugars. The third insoluble compound is hemicelluloses. They are hydrolyzed into sugars and uronic acid. Sugars are then converted to organic acids, alcohol, carbon dioxide and water by microbes. And then uronic acids are broken down to pentose and carbon dioxide. The last substance is starch. This is hydrolyzed into maltose by the action of amylases enzyme, and then maltose is converted to glucose by maltase enzyme. The third major category is decomposition of ether-soluble substances. Here the fats are converted to glycerol and fatty acids, and then glycerol is converted to carbon dioxide and water. The next one is decomposition of lignin, and there is a complete oxidation takes place, and that gives rise to carbon dioxide and water, and the sulfur containing organic compounds are converted to sulfate and hydrogen and nitrogen by sulfur oxidizing bacteria. The final substance in the decomposition of organic matter is the P containing organic compounds. There are two main processes are involved. The one is mineralization and the next one is immobilization. Mineralization is the biological conversion of organic forms of carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus and sulfur to inorganic or mineral forms, while the immobilization is the conversion of inorganic forms of carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus and sulfur by the soil organisms into organic forms. Well friends, so far we have seen the decomposition of different organic residues. Now it is a very important point to be discussed is carbon cycle. How the carbon cycle is playing a major role in the plant kingdom, and we see one by one. Carbon is a main constituent of all organic matter, and during photosynthesis the carbon is fixed as organic form, and the fixed organic substances is unavailable for use in the generation of new plant life. So the carbon containing materials needs to be decomposed and returned to the atmosphere for the survival of the higher organisms. Let me discuss about the carbon cycle in particular. It nothing but the fixation of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and its regeneration back to atmosphere. In this carbon cycle, there are two processes. One is immobilization and mineralization. Immobilization is the conversion of inorganic forms of nutrients to organic forms, whereas mineralization is the conversion of organic form of carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus and sulfate into inorganic or mineral forms. It's the important subject for discussion is CN ratio. It refers to ratio between the nitrogen content in the microbes and organic residues to the carbon content of the soil. When fresh plant residues which are rich in carbon and poor in nitrogen is applied to soil, that results in wider CN ratio, that is 40:1. And if the organic matter is decomposed to humus, that results in narrow CN ratio, that is 10:1. The CN ratio of cultivated soil is 8:1 to 15:1 with an average of 10:1 to 12:1. The legumes and farmyard manures, the CN ratio is 20:1 to 30:1. The straw 100:1, sawdust 400:1. In microorganism, the CN ratio is 4:1 to 9:1, whereas in humus it is 10:1. CN ratio is lower in soils of arid zones than humid regions. CN ratio is smaller in subsoils than surface soils. What are all the roles of organic matter? Let us see one by one. It creates granular condition of soil that favors aeration and permeability. The water holding capacity of soil is increased by reducing surface runoff, erosion that results in good infiltration. The surface mulching with coarse organic matter lowers wind erosion and soil temperature in the summer, and it keeps the soil warmer in winter. Organic matter serves as a source of energy for microbes, the reservoir of nutrients, hormones and antibiotics that are essential for plant growth. It also supplies food for earthworms, ants and rodents. It makes soil phosphate readily available in acid soil. Organic acids that are released from decomposing of organic matter help to reduce the alkalinity of soil. The humus, highly decomposed organic matter that provides a storehouse for the exchangeable and available cation. It is also act as a buffering agent which checks rapid chemical changes in pH and soil reaction. Well friends, now we discuss the factors that are affecting soil organic matter. The first one is climate. Under climate, the temperature. The organic matter is accumulated in warm climate compared to the cooler climate. The next one is rainfall. Increase in organic matter with an increase in rainfall. The second factor is natural vegetation. The total organic matter is higher in grasslands than forest soils. The texture. The fine textured soil is higher in organic matter than coarse textured soil. The fourth factor is drainage. Higher in organic matter and N in poorly drained soils because of high moisture content and poor aeration than well drained soils. The fifth one is cropping and tillage. The cropped lands have much low nitrogen and organic matter than virgin soils. The last one is rotations, residues and plant nutrients. The crop rotations of cereals with legumes results in higher soil organic matter content. Before talking about one-liner of this presentation, I would like to talk about the factors that are affecting decomposition of organic matter. The first factor is temperature. Warm summer permits plant growth and humus accumulation. Soil moisture, the next one. The extremes of both arid and anaerobic conditions reduce plant growth and microbial decomposition. The third one is nutrients. Lack of nitrogen slows down decomposition. The fourth one is soil pH, the last factor. Microbes grow best at pH 6 to 8, whereas the microbes are severely inhibited below pH 4.5 and above pH 8.5. From the examination point of view, we are providing one-liners in each and every videos. And in this presentation, the one-liners are: the plant residues contains 75% moisture and 25% dry matter. Ether-soluble organic matters are fats, oils, waxes, resins and lignins. Rapidly decomposed organic matters are sugars, starches, proteins. Transformation of organic nitrogenous compounds to ammonia is called as ammonification. Conversion of ammonia to nitrate is called as nitrification, that is carried out by Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter. The conversion of nitrates into gaseous nitrogen or nitrous oxide is termed as denitrification. One liner continues, the organic acids released from decomposing organic matter help to reduce alkalinity in soil. Average CN ratio of cultivated soil is 10:1 to 12:1. CN ratio of farmer manure is 20:1 to 30:1. Straw has CN ratio of 100:1. Sawdust CN ratio is 400:1. Microorganisms possess 4:1 to 9:1 CN ratio. CN ratio of humus is 10:1. Well friends, the last part of this presentation is question and answers. The cellulose content in plant tissues is about, the option A is the correct answer, 20 to 50%. The example of very slowly decomposing raw organic matter is, the option is C, fat and waxes. CN ratio of cultivated soil is about, the option B is the correct answer, 10:1. Conversion of nitrogen to molecular nitrogen is known as, the option A, denitrification. Well friends, if you want to correspond to me for obtaining PDF and online tests, you can text me at 9894904745, that is the WhatsApp number, or you can mail at vanangamudi.tnu@gmail.com. If you want to get my videos in forthcoming issues, you kindly subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you very much.